as if what we're missing, the void that needs to be filled, is the actual word community. And in that word, we have unity in it. And I feel as if that's what's ultimately missing. I mean, we all individually have these tools. We all individually, have certain knowledges, have certain, foundations that can be beneficial for all. But what stops us is sharing that, is eliminating the pride, eliminating the ego, eliminating the self-centered, and saying that, the better I better myself is the better I can better others. And it's taking the next step further and saying, okay, now let me share it. I've gained all this knowledge. I've learned how to develop this business. I've got these books somebody put me on to. They've helped me beneficially. So why not share it? Why not give these tools? And the word tools is just such a remarkable word because it requires a responsibility from the other person to use that tool in order for it to be beneficial for them. So I feel as if tools is what's so important. I think if we give people the tools, like how you have, referred me to Skype, how you have referred me, to these books, it's up to me to use these tools to be beneficial for me because you have seen value in it. And I think if we just share more tools, if we just raise our compassion just a little bit, even if it's a little bit, if we just take a little bit more of a responsibility for us in a whole instead of the I feel as if it will raise the community, to where it was when I was growing up, where, if I got in trouble, my parents went around, my neighbors took that responsibility, to look over me or to, to carry out, to carry out a consequence or something like that. It wasn't more so, okay, this is me, I'm doing me. And, if I make it, I make it. Forget about where I came from. Forget about my environment. Forget about my people. I think we have to get that feeling back where we actually just are a little bit more compassionate to each other. And we just take on just a little bit more responsibility for taking care of our community. Mm-hmm. I think, that will, in the essence of it, really help not only ourselves out, but just where we live, where our kids will be living, right. Where our grandchildren will be living years from now. I think ultimately, that's just a piece of the pie. It's so complex and there's so many other things that we can do. But I feel as if, to have more community is to actually be a community.
Wow. I think we're missing community in everything. We have, over the years, I want to say around maybe the 80s when the cocaine came in, we have left community and became selfish. It's kind of crazy because I was studying different cultures and I seen the Japanese and the Chinese. They have a communicative action in business. You know what I mean?
It's the Jews.
Yeah, the Jews, everybody except us, where we practice individualistic. That culture, that it's all about IVE. It's all about, or everything that you got, every resource that you got, you just keep it to Jason. You know what I mean? And hope that nigga find it on his own. You know what I mean? And I think that has came about since 1980. Because remember back then, you had Black Power. When we was fighting against the man, we was together. Back then we had, back in New York, you had the Stoops and you had everybody was chilling. But now it's like everybody's the fathers aren't at the house. The mothers are raising these boys. The mothers are raising the daughters, and even the grandmother, because father is absent from home. And with the fathers being absent from home, these young men don't even know who they are. So these women are now raising little boys in drag. You know what I mean? And who is telling these kids who they are? It's the music, it's the social media, it's the social networking, it's everything else except the fathers. And now that if you look at it in the early tribes, if you take the man out, just like slavery, everybody, the whole society will fall. And right now, there's no society, there's no community, there's no unity, there's nothing but a bunch of uneducated people just going along their way. and it's horrible. Yeah, just by and by. And I think what's going to happen is you could even label this a order of population control if you want, but it's ridiculous, man. You know, me and my man Wise from WiseShabazz.com, we actually had a show called Ignorance, the New Black Community. You know what I mean? Excuse me, the New Black Culture. And it was for 2.5 hours we spoke on how we have no culture, and it's very deep, man, because you realize if you have culture, if you know who you are, you know who you came from, you know things about Kwanzaa, just like the Jews know everything about their religion and about where they came from. They work together. I used to work in a Jewish synagogue, and I used to be a janitor there, and it was amazing to me that they all took care of that synagogue. If you was a carpenter, you did what you had to do to keep that synagogue going. You know, where black people, we can't even pay our tithes in church because we so damn selfish. It's all about us.
And I think ultimately, you know, you know, Gandhi, you know, I don't know exactly word for word, but it's almost something like this, you know, we have to be the change that we want to see in the world, you know, and I think it starts with us. It starts with us knowing. It starts with us educating ourselves. It starts with us being knowledgeable about our past, about the current, about what's about to happen, about choices, about, you know, personal growth, development, life skills, social life. It starts with us, but it doesn't end with us. And I think that's where most people get it wrong. They consume all this knowledge, all these resources, these tools, and then it ends right there. You know, they gain this wealth, they gain these riches, and, you know, they live in this lavish, you know, lifestyle, and it stops there. I think it has to get to a point where we are the student, and then we become the teacher. We give,
right?
You know, and that's the only way I feel is if we can really continue to receive, is if we continue to give,
right?
And ultimately, you know, the fruits from our labor will diminish. It will dismantle if we don't continue to give, continue to reach out. And I think that's the bridge that's broken right now. I think we have to gain and consume all this knowledge within ourselves. We have to learn the game, but we have to share it. You know, I just feel as if that's a responsibility of life, is to, you know, help others help themselves.
Right.
You know, I feel like that's just not made as a priority nowadays. You know, I don't know if it could be so many different things, from the media, from the radio, from your magazines, from your environment, from the society. So many different things that kind of influence, you know, that not being of importance. But I think it starts here. It starts with us just raising awareness little by little. And the more people we get, the more people that they can raise awareness to. And then that causes that domino effect. So, you know, it starts with us, but it does not end with us.
Right.
You know, it has to continue. You know, and just that message in itself is so powerful. You know, it's so deeper than, you know, what the words is and what they spell out. And I think that we're getting there. You know, I see more positive people now. I see more people trying to do things in the community now. But I also, you know, in respect to reality, it needs to be more. It needs to be more, because it's still unbalanced from those, you know, young few that are really, you know, ambitious and really trying to do these positive things in these communities, to, you know, this superficial materialistic lifestyle and this ignorance.
Right.
You know, it's still a severe unbalance. But you know, all we can do is do our best.
Right.
You know, all we can ultimately do is do our best and help others do their best.
Right.
You know, and show them that it's able.
Right.
Like, you know, when we have to lead by example and by model.
Right.
So, you know, I just do my best, as well as I see you do your best, and as well as I see others that I have met do their best. And I think with that, you know, we'll get somewhere.